Shut up, Evan. Shut up, Evan. Fuck off, Evan. Shut up, Evan.
And can I get one last one as Shane Hollander?
Shut up, Evan.
That was so quick, but he came into you.
I blacked out. Shut up. Shut up, Evan.
Oh, okay. Have you done a podcast before?
No.
This is your first podcast.
Yeah. How long do we have?
We have 75 minutes.
Oh, that's so good.
Yeah.
Oh, I can relax.
My goal is to kind of like find new ground here.
I'm a little like nervous now.
Now, famously, from the show, LA is hot this time of year. This is your first time in LA.
Hot women. First time in LA?
Yeah.
No, I've been here.
You've been here?
Yeah, it's got to be in the tens.
Oh.
Yeah, I've been coming here since I was a kid, but just not in the industry.
And you're in the industry now.
I'm in Hollywood, baby.
Not only are you in Hollywood, this is the funny thing about this weekend. And maybe this is a little inside baseball for people, but I think it can help them understand.
I'm taking my shoes off. Is that okay?
Take them off.
Okay.
This is award show weekend, and obviously award season is long, but this particular weekend is Golden Globes weekend.
Yes.
So everyone right now on the internet is very overwhelmed by the HUDCon schedule.
Yeah.
Because we're getting like, you just came from a cut brunch.
Yes.
You're going to leave here today. You're going to go to a fitting for Globes. Then tonight I'm going to see you again at the WMAG Best Performances Party.
Oh, my God.
Then the next day you'll have the Golden Globe.
Mm-hmm.
We have you here in LA finally, although you've been here 9 other times.
Mm-hmm.
But you're here right now, part of the industry.
Yeah.
And the industry is having a particular industry-centric weekend.
Right.
So it's the perfect storm.
Yeah, I guess it is.
Hudson Williams.
Yes.
I'm very excited to have you here.
I'm excited to be here. Truly, like, this is a perfect setting for me. This is really good.
You've been out here this week, but I was looking at, like, for instance, with Fallon, it's like you're on stage, and I feel like the nice thing about a podcast is it's a little bit more intimate.
Yeah, the dogs are out partially. I've unbuttoned and I don't care. I'm really getting cozy in here.
By the end of the interview,
Yeah, who knows what will happen. Yeah.
On this exhaustive press tour that you've been on,
Mm-hmm.
are you feeling at all overstimulated? People have a reaction to you. Obviously, we know it's a lovely thing,
Yeah.
but you're human. And so where does the energy live for you?
It's ebbs and flows. There are times when someone I both recognize and admire, and I'm well rested enough or well caffeinated in the moment that energy gets expended, and then it will be bounced back. But there are times when I'm just too sleepy and I can't quite give it all back, so I just kind of take. And sometimes I'm half there, I feel half awake. Sometimes I don't recognize the person. Occasionally it's rewarding. Sometimes it feels like you have to be on. But most importantly, I just feel kind of grateful that I get any sort of attention for doing work that I really loved doing.
I think there's a lot of hotel rooms right now.
Mm-hmm.
When you come home at the end of the night and you get to close the door and it's just you, do you take a deep breath in that moment and just kind of let it out at all?
I feel like I haven't taken a breath. When I go back to Canada, I take a breath. But as soon as I've been in New York, I'm in LA quite a bit. I don't feel like I can fully relax in hotel rooms, especially now that there are meetings coming up. There are roles, in the inbox. So it's like that should be the priority. I should be reading these things, but I have so little time. So plane ride, no matter what, it's like I'm just fighting sleep to try to read everything that I've been being sent. So there's no breath.
Can you sleep on a plane?
Yeah.
Because Connor said he can't sleep on a plane, and I'm like, you're gonna have to learn to sleep on a plane.
Yeah, he said he doesn't like moving things. I love
sleeping on a plane.
I know. Something about the ascent, like the departure, just sends me, and I find it actually very hard to stay awake on the liftoff.
Yeah, sometimes for me the struggle is to stay awake for the meal.
Exactly.
Because I'm finally in my seat. Maybe I took a pill.
I know.
I'm ready to conk
Yeah.
out, and I'm just like, no, stay awake. Because and no disrespect to air travel, but when they make the big announcement at the beginning and everything, it's like at some point it's like we kind of know the seatbelt on.
Yeah. Also, like, why can't I lean back? I know the emergency position is that, so maybe it counteracts.
Yeah.
But like, if I die, I die. I'd rather die comfortably and reclined.
Yeah.
So that I have a problem with. We need to fix this, I think.
Talk to me about because you mentioned your inbox filling up. And so
Hmm.
my understanding from actors that I've spoken to is there's this thing called positioning, which is that you have all these opportunities and you might want to take this gleaming opportunity that arrives your way. But taking that opportunity might preclude you from
Mm,
doing another opportunity. You might hear from one of your dream directors and they
mm.
reach out and they're like, here's this film. Hudson, we want you to do it. 9-month shoot in
Yes.
Dubai. And you're like, oh my God, opportunity of a lifetime.
Hmm.
Yes. But then right before you sign, another one comes in, they're like, 2-week shoot,
Hmm.
more money, less prestigious director. When I talk about positioning, it's sort of all about this chess match
Yeah.
that you have before you now, and sort of saying it's not about the best or greatest opportunity
Mm.
necessarily. It's actually just the practicality. And so, how has that been for you? Because that's something that very few people in this industry, especially in this day and age, get to a place where that's the predicament.
Right, right. So yeah, it's hard to complain about because for a long time I've been an actor, a cliche of an actor, struggling server, paycheck to paycheck, just desperate for any role, let alone a good one. And I was just talking with one of my agents yesterday, and she said, Connor and I have had to learn what a lot of actors get in 5 years in like 30 days. So it's learn quick, trying to build a sort of sense of direction and yeah, these choices that you're speaking of, because the inbox fills up quick, but then it's March shoot, March shoot. Okay. Oh, this one sounds like this one. I have a meeting with this person for this book or this movie, whatever, in 2 months. But this one I is a straight offer, but it kind of sounds like this movie. Do I wait for
Yes.
this more prestigious movie? But this one also sounds good. Um, Finding out, do I read 10 pages? Do I just read the log line? What do we say no to before really giving it the full time of day? Because just like if I simply do not have the time, if I just sat and read everything to finish all these scripts and in time to give an answer to these people. Um, so that is really tricky because I don't want a gem to like escape me.
Totally.
So I'm figuring that out quickly. I'm not sure I'm doing it well, but it's a very fortunate position. So I'm trying to slap myself whenever I go to complain. Um, but that doesn't change the fact it's really difficult.
Yeah. And I also think it's okay to complain.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
maybe not like on a podcast, but like
Right.
but like just
Yeah.
fundamentally
I
like
complain to the people who
yeah.
won't, kill
Yeah.
me.
But
Yeah.
like I'm typically pro complaining. I'm a big complainer. I will definitely
Yeah.
say. In a lot of the interviews you've done,
Mhm.
you've been asked to sort of speak to the phenomena that you
Right.
find yourself within. Why I do think it's worth sort of meditating on with you for a second is just the velocity is really the thing that I think is unique in this circumstance. And
Yeah.
I saw no better example of that than you coming out of Fallon several weeks ago. Beatlemania, as Fallon later described it. What is it like to walk outside and have that energy thrust toward you and the screams are hitting you? Does that feel different?
Yeah, it doesn't feel like anything you could prepare for. Because when you see those things, when I was just a Samaritan, I'm still just a person,
Were you going to say a Samaritan?
a Samaritan, yes,
Yeah.
an everyday Samaritan.
Yeah.
It's a different existence now, not based on worth or whatever quality of human, but it's a different life. And when you see these people, like when you see the Beatles, when you see BTS, there's an element of that's not another human, that's a celebrity, which exists in this weird definition that is very abstract, that you can hear them talk about, but you don't necessarily. I couldn't empathize. I thought I could empathize with it, but I couldn't fully feel what they were going through until now. And now it's just brought this wave of sympathy, because it's not easy having paparazzi people constantly go, sign this, do this, do this. because although it feels good that people admire your work, it's we can go to pockets of places I never thought we would be found, and we're still pulled aside for a photo, something to be signed. Lunch gets interrupted. You have to look nice because you can't just roll out in sweatpants, which I used to always do, and just look awful. You don't want to be caught. There's all these things that are just sort of exhausting. So a lot of me just wearing the glasses too. I'm like, I just don't want to have like an eye twitch, and I don't want them to see my 3 hours of sleep. So I was always like, oh, that's such a stuck up move. Like, what a prima donna with their glasses on. And now I'm like, I just want to be able to just have a sort of semblance of privacy, or like I want to be able to control my lack of sleep that shows up in my eyes, or fear, or whatever it is. But like a lot of the smiling there, I think people were saying like, oh, he looks like he's just taking it all in. He loves it. He's on top of the world. I was just kind of like, holy shit, this is fucking crazy. Get me to the car. These people seem very nice, but I can't possibly sign everyone's thing, talk to everyone. And, I can't steal away, because then also there's an element of selfishness. If I were to stay and sign everything, the security, they have other jobs to do. They have to take other people into the building. They have to get off the clock. My publicist needs to get somewhere. My agents need to get somewhere. It can become a selfish act, not a generous one, to just stand there and meet everyone. There are other people around me. So, it's a weird balance, and there's so much minutia that I never could possibly imagine exists in this world of celebrity.
Well, it's interesting you talk about the privacy thing, because I've observed with you and Connor this way in which it's well-intended people, right?
Absolutely.
For instance, there's a photo of you that was taken from behind at the airport just a few weeks ago when you were heading from New York here, right?
My ass.
Your ass. And it's getting posted because people are like, he's leaving New York, he's heading to LA, Connor's in LA, HUDCon reunion, it's happening, get ready. At the same token, someone's taking a photo of you while you're in public without your consent. And so I do think it's this strange gray area. And I have to be honest with you, I don't know where I come down on it, because I share a lot of these photos, or I engage with these photos, or I appreciate seeing you and Hudson at Sunset Tower last night, stepping out and being like, oh my God, my boys are back together.
Yeah.
But a part of me is like, then I see a viral video go around of, that one of you guys accidentally took a pen. Do you know about this?
Oh, maybe.
This is hilarious. One of you took a pen, and that becomes a video.
Oh.
I know.
I didn't even realize this.
You took a pen?
My mom sends me stuff because for the last little while I've had my social media deleted. I get it to like if someone's like repost this, whatever, I'll get it. Or if they're like, oh, look at this, I'm like, oh, okay. But it's usually like my mom or people on my team or friends that'll send me things.
Yeah.
So like, that photo you mentioned, I was like, holy hell, I didn't even know that person.
I don't think it's incumbent on you and Connor and these people to hold the line there. And so with that said, it's like, then who is it incumbent upon? And that's when I sometimes look at like journalists or people like myself to kind of say, well, I think that the role that maybe we serve is to sort of establish that link between the celebrity and the fandom, to kind of have platforms like this where you're sitting down to talk. I'm not so sure about those ones of when you're walking down the street getting you from behind, but I recognize the inclination.
Yes, me too, because those are the photos that I have engaged with. Unsolicited. All paparazzi is unsolicited. There's a whole market for it, and I've engaged with it before. I still engage with it. It piques my interest. It plays in something sort of base in me that gets me excited and titillated. But also, it's when it comes down to there was no consent there. That person didn't necessarily want that photo taken. It is maybe not nefarious, but it's not sweet, and it's not fully welcomed. It doesn't make us feel safe, or really like we can disarm. We feel very always on defense. Even when I go out now, I remember I've never really struggled with social anxiety since ninth grade. I get other anxieties, but not social. But for the first time in a while, I was just out to get some lighter fluid at my SkyTrain station in Vancouver, and I was like, and I remember like looking down, planning my exit. I was trying to like avoid the masses of people because I'm in gym shorts, like a hoodie, a hat, like look gross. I think I'm in like dusty ass sneakers. And I remember for the first time, I had like just a huge amount of social anxiety of just let me get to the car because I'm not in a social mood. I don't want to be rude. And if someone stopped me, I would talk to them for 6 minutes or however long they chatted my ear off. But that's not exactly what I want to do right now. I want to
Yeah.
get home.
Yeah.
So it's super tricky. I would say the responsibility, if I always appreciate it when someone it goes, hey, this is not cool. We shouldn't be engaging with this. Sometimes the photo is kind of harmless, like the one from me walking. Like I don't really care too much, but there were other videos of my co-stars, other actors that I've seen they're a gray area. That person should know better than to post that. But it kind of comes with the territory. I would say there's probably an element of responsibility on applications and media sites to sort of censor these things.
Yeah, it's like the dissemination of them by
Yeah,
those
there's
sites.
clearly no consent there. And it doesn't seem like a hard territory to sort of screen.
Yeah.
If someone's turned walking with someone and they don't even know a camera's on them, maybe just delete that photo on just maybe don't allow that photo on your app or delete it once it comes on because people are going to be people, including myself. But yeah, it's dicey territory. It's gray. It's not black and white.
You talked about kind of deleting social media, which is very healthy. You follow 85 people on Instagram right now.
Mhm.
I believe I have the number correct. I have a couple call-ins for today. One of those is one of those 85 people, and I'm going to bring in one of your 85.
Hello, Hudson. My name is Hunter, and I have a question for you. And it is because Shane's mascot in your show is centaurs, I believe. What would yours be in real life if you could pick your own mascot for you, Hudson Williams?
I am a huge fan. Hunter's great in everything she does. And yeah, I've been a fan since Euphoria was the first thing I seen her in. Really excited for her career. Also the episode she wrote is really brilliant. Okay, but to answer her question, that is so fucking wild. That's so wild. I would say maybe like a raccoon. They look so cute. They kind of have this cool dark energy, but sometimes they're rabid. You never know what you're gonna get. Sometimes they're out in the daytime, and you're like, what are they doing? And then they growl at you, and sometimes you just see someone cuddling them in the daylight. They're always hungry. They can look really menacing. So maybe like a raccoon. They'll get bags under their eyes. I feel like I have dark
You don't?
eyes. No.
Oh, you'd make dark eyes. I was
dark
say
eye.
bags
Yeah.
under your eyes.
Yeah. I feel like I have dark eye area. And a lot of times I get bags. So yeah, maybe a raccoon.
On the subject of bags under the eyes, what's been it like for you to suddenly have grooming?
Yeah.
Did you have like styling and grooming for the Heated Rivalry premiere in Canada?
No, that's just me. I'm just fly.
You looked great.
Okay, thank you.
And that came from your wardrobe.
Yeah, everything came from even now, I work with a stylist, Anastasia Walker, and she is my homie. Ika, she's she's my G is what I call her. And so they're familial and they are comforting. They don't feel like the industry. They don't feel like this more Hollywood. Like I don't feel like I'm in like the substance, like getting like freaking like scrubbed down and polished, and they just feel like they're my friends, which is really great. But style wise, I always loved fashion. I have a lot of my fans and my or a lot of my role models in sort of the fashion style world. So getting to like create looks that kind of span my diverse taste, it's really satisfying.
Can I hear more about these role models?
Yeah.
I'm just so curious because I feel like fashion is
Yeah.
already becoming a part of your life, but I think it's about to become an even bigger part.
Right. A lot of my fashion role models are like women, just because a lot of times they're like what they wear and sort of their aura around them is like Rihanna, I think, has like Marilyn Monroe. There's a sensuality to how they dress, and their clothes complement that. Then I also like people who can be, kind of braggadocious and, slightly loud. Like ASAP is just always a touchstone, always someone we talk about when we make a Pinterest board or whatever. John F. Kennedy Jr., Princess Diana, there's a lot of like kind of cool mixes of like, tweed and then a t-shirt on a bike with a backwards hat and fun socks. Like that's cool. Gosling, I think, is a good touchstone for just a classic suit. Like I think he wears a fitted suit really well. Tom Ford is just not only a fashion role model, I just love him. He's a good director, a beautiful speaker. He looks cool. I love hearing him talk. I love him. Who else? Oh, Audrey Hepburn is sort of an all-time style icon. Clean looks, does jewelry. Well, Breakfast at Tiffany's, does jewelry better than anyone.
Wow. Fantastic answer. 2 follow-ups on that. One, Fenty Beauty just followed you on Instagram recently.
I wear their underwear all the time. It's like the only underwear besides like Calvin Klein and Saks that I wear. But Fenty is they make my favorite underwear.
Really?
Yeah.
I'm a big Skims guy.
I haven't tried Skims yet.
I really do love Skims.
Okay.
But you also mentioned Princess Diana, and of the many comparisons that, you have a lot of nicknames on Twitter and on social media, and a lot of people, people's princess. But when I was, my cursory Google, a lot of people are comparing you, calling you sort of the modern day Princess Diana.
Oh, I've only seen this once.
Oh.
Someone sent this to me, and that was weird because I was like, I have loved her my whole life. And just her whole aura, everything about her history, who she was, her sort of a reverence is really sick. So yeah, I don't even know what that means or what they're seeing, but something I think cosmic of just me always looking up to her hopefully exists. And that's one of the best compliments I've ever heard because I love her.
I imagine a lot of brands are eager, maybe foaming at the mouth to work with you.
Yeah. I love a foaming mouth.
Love a foaming mouth. Because you mentioned a lot of your style icons, and these are all individuals, but I'm wondering on the brand side, is there a brand that appeals to you?
There's a designer that I was talking about with Zach Posen, not to name drop, but it's a Japanese designer who I've since looked into even more. Yoshi
Yamamoto.
Yeah. Holy shit. Yeah.
This makes sense for you.
And Rick Owens, who's sort of a predecessor and sort of like a spiritual connector. I don't really want to work with the brands I'm not going to name those brands, but there are a lot of brands that are like the go-to. And I'm good just to dress myself before I dress with them.
Can I shout out my favorite Hudson fashion moment so far?
Okay.
The leather trench that you wore outside of Fallon, maybe like
Yeah.
that was like a wine red.
Yeah. In different photos, it looked really different. In person, it was kind of like a Michael Jackson Thriller red.
Yes.
But like a little more burgundy.
Yes. Do you know what it was giving me? Do you know this reference, Spike from Buffy the Vampire Slayer?
Yes.
Yeah, that was definitely something for me. The other thing I've seen come up a lot is the Met Gala. Are you interested in attending the Met Gala?
Yes. No, I think a lot of people have divisive reactions to it because it can be the celebratory thing. I've always appreciated it. But I think some people who can't afford to idolize it, appreciate it, it is vanity personified, aesthetics in the forefront. and I think there's room for that. I think there's a fun way of just looking at it with, um, a sprinkle of truffle salt on your life. And if you can afford to incorporate it, it is not fundamental, but it's fucking fun. And it can just be sort of like the best form of ostentatious, and I love it.
And for people that don't know, the Met Gala is a fundraiser for the Metropolitan Museum of
Exactly.
Art.
There we
So
go.
totally agree with you. Yes, it obviously is ostentatious displays of wealth, certainly, but that money being generated is ultimately going toward funding the arts. And so I think that is an important thing for people to understand about the Met Gala. I'm not saying that people shouldn't feel how they feel about
Right.
it. It's just sort of additive to the conversation.
So if I have something that costs $60,000 from head to toe on top of me, I am the best form of a philanthropist, is what you're saying.
That's exactly what I'm saying.
I'm like Mother Teresa
You're a
personified.
philanthropist.
Okay, that's what I was thinking, and people called me vain, but I didn't
No, no,
understand.
no.
Yeah,
I will say too, did you see the video of Donatella Versace watching Heated Rivalry?
I know she has seen it and followed us.
You
and
haven't seen this video?
I haven't seen the video.
I have to show it to you.
I'm not on anything right now.
I'm gonna start sending you stuff, okay? I don't want to bombard your inbox, but there's some content I think is important for you to see.
Hey Donatella, what are you watching?
Is that even a question? Take me to the cottage already.
Is that what you want? To be together?
Take her to the cottage immediately.
What? We've already been, but we can go back, and she's invited.
Could you imagine if you and Connor were filming at the cottage and there
Mm.
was just a knock on the glass, like between, maybe not even between takes, in the middle of a take, there's just a knock on the
Yeah.
glass, and it's Donatella.
Donatello.
She's like, I'm here.
I blame Jacob Tierney for not making a world in which that could have happened.
Yeah, well, season 2.
I mean, Dylan Walsh killed it in his scene,
Uh-huh.
but it's more interesting, and you can't deny that if it was Donatella instead.
Oh my god, we need an edit of instead of Shane's dad coming, it's Donatello pulling up to the cottage.
That's beautiful.
However, I feel like if Donatello walked in and saw you guys making out,
She'd join.
she'd join.
She'd
Exactly.
join.
Yes.
Yeah.
I do want to bring in another caller to the conversation, one you're admittedly quite familiar with. I had you call in
Mhm.
when I had Connor on the podcast. I figure only appropriate that we close the loop.
Hi, Huddy. I am going to ask you a question the way that you asked me one. I'm currently wearing your hat, and that inspired me to ask you something related to clothing. Is there something that you used to wear or a style that you used to try that you look back on and you're like, I cannot believe I tried that. I cannot believe I wore that. Any growth in terms of your style? I love you. Hi, Evan. I love you too.
We're
Wow.
loved. It's good to be loved. Yeah.
There are a lot of things I tried at the wrong time that just didn't feel right. I can't remember anything that I just found really embarrassing. I've seen people react to their fashion over the years, and they've been very embarrassed, but that's sort of the point of fashion, is just trying things. And life is inherently embarrassing, and progress is inherently embarrassing to try and change. And it's kind of, yeah, it is. I like the idea of fashion as a way to express how you're feeling, the mood you're in. But I would say the only thing that I found embarrassing is when I was trying things to fit in, or trying things that didn't feel authentic to me. And sometimes I'm okay to go out my way to be like, oh, I hope to become this a little bit more in an aspirational way. But when it's in a more sort of fitting in type of way, I find that just regrettably embarrassing.
On that note, that makes me think, your Wikipedia right now, your early life section is one paragraph. I expect that to grow in the coming.
I haven't even looked at
If
this.
you were on the edit of the Wikipedia early life section, are there some sentences or bits that you think would be important to include?
I'll start with something mundane. I was born in Kelowna, lived there very shortly before moving to Kamloops, British Columbia, a pocket desert. 2.5 hours away from Vancouver, British Columbia. And there was a defining point before grade 1 where I was into kindergarten. That was a French immersion. My auntie and my mom, they were like, let's put our kids in French immersion. So they're like multilingual. And I went to a French immersion where they gave demerits. We had a little name card like hanging on this wall. And if we said something in English and someone corrected us and said the French version, the person who said it in English would get a demerit, and the person who corrected would get a star. I was all for the stars, but the demerits, I was like, sorry, I'm not fluent yet. I'm 5 years old.
I feel like that encourages people to look out for others' flaws as well.
Yeah.
In the hopes of getting stars.
It's a douchey, fucking assholey little system. I'm not sure if that defines anything, but it pissed me off, and it led to me going, get me another school. And at that point, I had my little science book filled with like science experiments you could do at home. And also I was such a little performer. I liked dancing with a vacuum for my parents. I liked acting, and I liked quoting movies. I quoted Home Alone. There's like a video of me in a bathtub going, keep the change, you filthy animal, from that like fake gangster movie inside Home Alone. And my mom asked me before grade 1, first grade, that's what Americans say, do you want to go to a science school or an arts performing school? And I chose the arts very quickly. And we studied dance, singing, performing Shakespeare, like dumbed down Shakespeare, from grades 1 to 7. So then by the time I kind of was like, let's go back to this in 11th grade, it didn't feel like a departure. It felt like going back to something that was so ingrained in me, and felt liquid. It didn't feel like I had to be too heady to understand it. It felt like something that I could very astutely navigate without too much effort. And the more effort I put into it, it was just even more rewarding. From grades 1 to 7, still sort of inform the actor and artist I am today.
How small of a town was it that you grew up in?
At the time I was living in it as a kid, it was like 75,000.
And then did you go to Vancouver often?
Yeah, my cousins, who were sort of my sisters, I would come like it felt like once a month. I was living there for a little quick section. So yeah.
And was the goal to become a filmmaker or an actor or an amalgamation of both?
Post-secondary, it was to become an actor, because once I started taking classes out in Vancouver, which is they call Hollywood North, I realized people talk about it like a profession, because it is. And they would say, this is how you get an agent, this is how you work and make a living. That assured me I could do this and quit all this other shit that was like, you should go to business managing or maybe take business or accounting. And I was like, oh God, okay. Like post-secondary sounds like I hate my life. And then when I found acting, I was like, okay. I quickly told my parents and everyone around me that this is the hill I'm going to die on. And then very soon as I went to film school post-secondary, which was like a month after graduating high school, directing and writing became just as on the radar. Before Heated Rivalry, I felt like I was kind of pushing things forward in like a sort of like a game of checkers, and I didn't know which lane would take off. I'm kind of just trying to see which catches fire, but I was sort of as confident and as weary or insecure about both writing, directing, and acting.
It's interesting because it's like, thinking about this relationship with you and Connor, he similarly is also a filmmaker as well. And I'm wondering if you were to sort of like map out the next 5 years for yourself. Obviously, I imagine you're going to continue seeking out projects that have you on camera. But are you also interested in continuing to develop scripts at all, find projects to direct as well?
I think it's inevitable within the next 5 years. I have my feature debut, which I probably will have wrote, and just the egomaniac in me is going to act in it. Not because it doesn't feel like it comes from a place of conceit. At least it feels like it comes from a place of I have a specific tone I like when I write. Selfishly, I enjoy what I write, and it feels like the only person who writes like me is me, whether or not it's great or will be appreciated or anyone will think it's good. I have no control of or no prospects of even possibly understanding, but I like it. And so I want to exist in the worlds I create.
You've spoken about some of these directors, these great directors that you hope to work with.
Yeah.
I imagine it's amazing to be meeting fellow actors, but as a filmmaker, I imagine it's also
Yeah.
particularly resonant when those kind of people, the kinds that have that creative apparatus of making work,
Yeah.
are coming up to you, wanting to meet you. And so does that hit differently when it's the writers and directors that are approaching you and seeing you?
As much reverence as I have for actors, I would say it's more consistently as of late that I'm getting starstruck by the filmmakers. I just met Joachim Trier, who just did Sentimental Value. I'm a huge fan of Reprise and Worst Person. And meeting him, I didn't really know what to say. My only quickly when my quick read of it was just just pour as much love onto him and admiration you have for him, and just it was just word vomit and I couldn't really find words to speak. Even now I'm reliving it. I'm getting nervous thinking about it. And actors, as much as I admire them, I feel more kinship with actors, I guess. Whereas directors I sort of revere more so, I would say.
On my Instagram, I asked my followers if they had any questions for you, and I attached a Google form to it, thinking maybe, 20, 40 people. 21,000 of your fans responded with questions, and I did want to bring in one because I find it relevant to what you're talking about now. This comes from Sumay in London.
Oh, that's cool, Sumay. I like that.
Hi, Hudson. I would like to know who you would place in your Mount Rushmore of film directors. Stay sexy and blessed.
Stay sexy and blessed.
Stay sexy and blessed. Now, this is interesting because you've been asked about directors that you want to work with. That is separate from this. This is just your Mount Rushmore of film directors.
I'm already going to just object to that, but I'm going to ask you to give me a category.
Okay.
You can just give me this type of filmmaker or...
Okay, so my first inclination is to go horror, but I'm going to scratch that because I think the list seems a little bit more obvious. Let's go with directors who make classics. Does that make sense when I say that? I'm thinking, I hope I don't take one from you, but like a Rob Reiner, like the kind of directors that make movies with permanence.
Yes, okay. Forgive me, I'm going to say someone who's just an awful person, but Hitchcock. He's someone who, and even by saying this, I concede to the, separate art from artists. But his movies I find truly comforting. I've loved them since I was a child, and I always revisit them. I still see the mastery in them, and I'm always rediscovering his movies, and I really love them so much. I'm gonna go Park Chan-wook because I think he's making modern classics, and ones that I just hope to stay. In my head, I'm like, classics means old-time directors. And then, unfortunately, in the past, it's just been that, women haven't really just been afforded the luxury, and they've been discriminated against. So we only recently are getting the Lynn Ramseys, the Sofia Coppolas. But I guess I could say modern classic. Oh, my God. This is
I like
fucking
your
tricky.
brain.
Okay. I'm going to exclude Park Chan-wook, and I'm going to retract him, and I'm going to say older people. So I'm going to say Hitchcock, Billy Wilder. I'm going to do Bergman, and then I'm going to do... Oh, my God. This is really good. Let me just... did I say Billy Wilder?
Yeah.
I'll say Kubrick.
Kubrick.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I didn't want to say him because he was my first choice.
Yeah,
I don't know why I didn't
fair.
say him.
I was curious if you were going to go Cassavetes.
I like Cassavetes' style approach more than I've loved his movies. I like A Woman Under the Influence. It's one of the best, but a lot of his movies, I appreciate them more than I actually enjoy watching them. Even though I do enjoy watching them, they just, Kubrick, none of his movies haven't just hit me like a truck of you know, I'm a contrarian. A lot of times I don't want to go against the grain, but I just happen to find myself going, this guy? You guys like this guy? But Kubrick is just that good at what he does. And it's scary how fucking amazing he was at what he did. Yeah.
I sent you a text a few weeks ago in the lead up to this interview because I wanted to surprise you with someone that you're a big fan of. And I asked you for a list of your favorite actors. I asked you for, I think,
6.
Yeah, and you gave me like 12. It was an expansive list.
Yeah.
And so I wanted to bring one of these 12 actors that you named as one of your all-time favorites into the conversation.
I'm going to like pee or something. I'm going to poop.
Hi, Hudson. This is Michelle Williams and Busy Phillips, and we're here to say congratulations. We're so excited for you, and we love watching you. And we were wondering who inspired you when you were young and growing up? Like, what performances or what artists could you like carry along with you on this journey that you feel like has sort of been by your side invisibly and you still feel connected to now? Okay.
I'm going to be honest. I just missed the second half because I couldn't just believe what was happening. What was the last part? Holy shit, fuck. Holy shit. Holy fuck. She is huge. She is one of my... Wow. What did she say in the end? Someone I carried with me? An actor I carried with me?
I blacked out because I was watching you reacting to it. So
oh, my God. I'm sweating. Like my heart. Oh, my God. Manchester by the Sea, Blue Valentine. I want to... Brokeback Mountain, which she is so fucking good. What she does in Blue Valentine is something, if I could do something like that and make it as good. Her scene with Casey Affleck in Manchester, she's played Marilyn, and she kills it. She is The Fabelmans of recent memory. Oh my God. She can do anything, and she is such a stunning actor. And she can be, I use this word and I don't want people to like lose their minds, but like, I really like people who can get ugly, like devoid of, they're not trying to carry themselves. There's no air of celebrity in their performance or the other bullshit that doesn't matter. And she does that better than everyone. She is so fucking good. Anyway. So carry her with me. And then other people.
I think it's worth, like, you know, taking a moment to say how incredible that you put out something in the world that those who have inspired you have been inspired by. And that's just so remarkable. It's like someone like Michelle Williams is calling in to ask you a question because she saw your work and was moved by it. So everything you just said, you gave her that similar feeling in watching you do your thing.
Yeah. No, I can't quite believe that. I still can't even process that is something that exists. It means a lot. I truly cannot like comprehend the idea that this show, as brilliant as I think like Connor and Jacob are, it's hard to believe people watch this and are inspired or even refreshed or find it remotely interesting what I do, but it's very kind and sweet.
Do you believe the sentiment that's going around? And I'll have you answer her question in a second. But like, I think something tectonically has shifted in the world as a result of this show. And I mean that with some level of hyperbole, sure. But I also feel like since this show came out in the States here the day after Thanksgiving, things haven't been the same. I don't know how to explain it in any other way but to say it just feels like something changed. Something got lifted off this compounding weight. All of the world's problems have not been solved. Don't get me wrong here.
World hunger's over.
Yeah, yes. Thank you, Jacob Tierney. fucking cottage. I wrote about Heated Rivalry for my newsletter, and I said that I am so accustomed to just collectively going online with my hater brain, and sort of that's just how I understand things to be. I thought all we did was go online and hate on things. I thought that was the collective experience of what it meant to be an online human being these days. And yet, with Heated Rivalry and this remarkable fandom, I don't know, do you feel that, like, I'm not talking about the work, I'm talking about the effects of the work in terms of, like, is it far-fetched to say, like, making the world a better place?
No, that's not for me. I can't comment because I'm the most biased and way too inside the wind tunnel to possibly know how it's affecting other people. But if any of what you said is like remotely true to at least 3 people, then that's fucking amazing. And I think then it's all worth it if truly like 3 people, it made their life a little better. I think it's worthwhile. But no, I really don't know what I have no objective opinion.
Fair enough.
But people, to answer Michelle's question, I almost started bawling. That was crazy. I would say Mark Rylance has always been someone who I really appreciated. I remember Pacino saying, I really hope it was Mark Rylance now that I say this, and I think it was, but he said, people say, oh, you're one of the best actors of all time to Pacino, and he goes, oh, then you haven't seen Mark Rylance. And once I heard that, I watched a lot of Mark Rylance, and he is great. Interesting characters. He always makes you lean in. This might be my longest answer because there are so many. Parker Posey, as of recent, just because of her, she's an indie darling. She was that indie fucking like badass. That was fun, believable, odd. Her, Michael Stuhlbarg is really great. But that was more informing, I think, my modern self when I was young. Heath Ledger's my all-time favorite actor. I like character actors. I like how he's aesthetically very fucking beautiful to look at. But he can just completely betray that, and it's never distracting. And he can be ugly, he can be this, he can be deranged. Brando, I know everyone cites him, but he truly is, besides maybe James Dean, Montgomery, Monty Clift, those guys of that generation, there was a revolution in how they used their eyes and how much soul just pushed through. Also, I think they could lean on the writing back then it was a little bit more wonderful, in like a wondrous sense back then, that I think allowed us to kind of like gaze into their eyes and just see the stars a little bit. I would also say, oh fuck, why does his name just escape me? Dr. Strangelove. Peter Sellers is really great. Jim Carrey, for how like wild he can be. Ryan Gosling, for I just like how still he can be.
You're such a cinephile.
Yeah, I love movies. Yeah.
From movies to music, I wanted to bring a pop star into the conversation because, why not be more expansive?
Hi. I'm so starstruck through the phone. Hudson, nice to meet you. I'm Gracie. Evan, icon. My question is, what is your Enneagram number? I really, really, really want to know. And if you don't know it, I kind of feel like you should do it live on air together. That's just a suggestion. And I would also love to know your sign, your sun, moon, and rising. And if you are having a good day, and maybe also what you had for breakfast. Love you guys. Mwah.
Whoa.
Okay, let's work backwards. What'd you have for breakfast?
Okay. I didn't eat breakfast, and my hands were shaking at this brunch because I hadn't eaten anything, and I was out of dressing, and I was just pounding sliders in Marissa Tomei's face. Name drop, sorry. Anyway, so I had 2 sliders. I had some fish. I had some steak skewers. That's all I remember. A salad. It was great. And then what was the other one? Sign, Aquarius.
How was your day?
Great. I'm well fed now. I'm emotional. Kind of blown away now. Like I'm kind of like in the stars now.
Yeah, your astrology stuff, it's out of my purview.
I'm an Aquarius. February 13th, 2001. Born at like 1 p.m. I think. Yeah. No, 11 a.m.
And
11
then like
a.m.
isn't there a rising and
I don't know that stuff.
me neither.
Yeah.
Are you an astrology person?
No, but I appreciate when people tell me about my stuff. This was like me fighting ADHD for a long time. I didn't want to be diagnosed because then it was like, it felt like I would have a lack of, my control over my life felt like it was more up to something rather than it's in my hands. So anything like that just kind of makes me go, fuck that.
And then do you know about Enneagrams?
No.
I feel like it would be too complicated for us to get into right now. But let's circle back to this at some point. But basically, my understanding of Enneagrams, I'm not even well versed enough on it to really explain it. I just know that I am the enthusiast.
Yeah. Gracie was so cute. Oh my God. That was crazy. Okay.
Yeah,
Sorry.
she's the best. So,
Yeah, wow.
but we'll learn about it off mic, and then maybe you'll come back and report back, and we'll figure out what your Enneagram is.
Okay.
I wanted to bring one other person to the conversation. I don't know if you'll know who this is. Are you a reality television person?
I won't know this person.
Okay. I want to bring them in because they are a huge fan of yours.
Okay.
They have been potting about you and Heated Rivalry very religiously.
Okay.
And anytime that they talk about the show, it goes mega viral. Her big quote about the show when asked about Heated Rivalry is she described it as gay.
It is gay.
It is gay. So I want to bring in Gabby Windy of The Bachelor.
I know the name. That's rare. That's good. Truly, like, I don't know
and like
anything.
no Canadian Traders, like
No, Jacob produces that, and I still haven't seen it. I think I've seen like 1 season of either The Bachelor or The Bachelorette. I'll say all this reality TV I've seen. I've seen 2 episodes of Survivor.
which 2?
There was a guy hanging, and he was trying to hang for a long time. That's all I remember. And I've seen 2 seasons of Alone. We're done.
That's it. No Housewives.
People around me watch like Too Hot to Handle. I think Vanderpump Rules.
That is a show.
That's a show.
Yeah.
My friends watch that.
Okay, well, Gabby was on the 3rd season of The American Traders and won.
Oh, so she's a social little,
She's
a fox.
Hi, Hudson. I'm Gabby. And first, I wanted to congratulate you on all your success, obviously. It's so refreshing to see such talented, unknown actors on a big TV show. But, have you ever heard of a merkin? A merkin is a pussy toupee. Men normally wear them on their head, but in filming in a nude scene, women wear them around their pussy, and you get to pick whether it has hair or not. So I was wondering, what's your process in these nude scenes of taping it back, of securing your ding-a-lang? Do you get a merkin? Do you get to choose what kind of a hair it has? I think we're all just dying to know the process. So please go into as much detail as you can. It's really insightful information. I
got you, Wendy. I do the whole show in a pussy toupee. They're always like, why are you changing colors? Why does it have a weave? I'm going bold down there, and people don't see it, but like, I'm like representing different cultures. It's kind of insensitive. It's kind of like racy. We're on the line, but it's just informs my character. No, all I have is a cock sock. It's like a ballet slipper meets a Crown Royal bag. And you kind of just like, you kind of go balls in first. I remember Connor and I broke the ice by trying this on in front of each other with Jacob and Shayla. And they're like, you don't have to show us. You just can try it on for yourselves. But Connor came out first Because I was like, I went in and was like, this thing won't work. This is broken. No way. And then he came out and was like, it works. And we just going around showing us the whole thing. And I was like, what? How did you? And then he was like, no, you have to squat. He's like, the whole thing, you can stand and try for as long as you want. You won't get it. You have to like, you're like this in the goddamn wherever you are. And then you have to dip in, get the balls first if you ever need to try one on. Get the balls really pulled in there, and then shove Schwanz down into Schwanz. Da. Ja? No, Germans is ja. Ja. Cinch, tie, and then tuck in, and don't try and pull it off, because God, your stomach will hurt. If you have male genitalia and you try to pull that thing off, fucking hell. Oh my God. I did that. I was like, get this thing. And I was just in a bathroom. It wasn't even a bathroom. It's like your like little tent, like changing stalls on set. And I was like, just rolling. I was like, oh my God. Anyway, so I have that. And then just a little shave for down there because our pubes were out. I think I saw pubes in a couple shots.
I saw pubes.
Yeah, pubes are there.
Yeah.
Keep them well kempt. I don't like anyone going hairless. I like something that doesn't look prepubescent, or like on a penis, it can look like a naked mole rat pretty quick. So just keep it going down from your legs, because if you wear like a Speedo, you shouldn't be able to see it everywhere else, in my opinion, and this is just my opinion. I don't like treasure trails unless it's really like low, or you just have hair everywhere and then it's fine. This is just on me, so like caveat. And then I like to, not the legs, get up in your taint, bend down, look back, trim your butt. 'Cause even if you're not participating in anal sex, it's just like, you don't want a fucking trap for your shit. You just want to clean.
Oh, your literal shit.
Your literal shit.
Yeah.
You just want to clean that chute. Clean that chute. And yeah.
Do you know why I know you're a good actor?
Okay.
10 or 15 minutes ago, you were near tears, taking in Michelle Williams' feedback about, the greatness of your performance. And then you've switched into this so effortlessly.
Both mean as much to me.
I get it.
Yeah.
No, that's yeah, I get it. On the heated rivalry front, with just a few more minutes left.
What?
I know.
Oh my God.
You're being torn from me.
This feels like it was 5 minutes.
I know.
Okay. Wow.
Do you have an earworm of a Shane quote that has really stuck with you? I have a few, but I'm more curious about yours. Well, I love your line delivery in the hospital room. That whole, do you call it a monologue? The mini monologue.
Yeah.
I think it's
The
a combination of that. There's the expression on your face. I mean,
Ilya. I like that one.
It's joy.
Mm-hmm.
But so I think that obviously that whole moment there is a big one for me. I also have like, they're not earworms, I guess, but I have like visual cues. Obviously, you walking in to your hotel room in episode 4, right before you go to Ilya's, and you stand there. Do you know the meme?
Oh, when my little foot's turned in?
Yeah. I love that.
Yeah.
So much. Obviously, now I'm going to visuals. Like there's like the butt arch from episode 2 that people really love. Do you know that I did a burned in the brain image list of my 25 burned in the brain images of the show? I just want to share with you right now and see if anything stands out to you. I'm not trying to be indulgent. For me, this was what stuck out, and I'm curious. Do any of those stand out as like big moments for you?
The one where Ilya walks up to me in the thing, he goes, what room are you in? He just is so massive. He's so aesthetically pleasing. He looks, I think Seth Rogen talked about Zac Efron in this way, but he looks like a giant arrow pointing towards his dick. And it's fabulous. Like my eyes are just, that's what I was looking for. Oh yeah, me in the little suit staring in the mirror is so
That
dorky.
moment doesn't get spoken of enough. Do you think he's preparing to get railed in that moment, or the expectation is sort of like, maybe we'll make out? Like, what do you think he suspects that first encounter will be?
Jacob and I talked about this even before we did it. A part of him wants even more than what happened, but I think the pragmatist in Shane thinks that there needs to be a deliberation which they just part ways and decide never to do this again.
Got it.
And the suit is like, yes, I want to look handsome and presentable, but I want to look serious. And I want to have this serious conversation where I go, we can't do this anymore. And then he just looks at himself, and it takes him a little second, but it's a pathetic, it's sad. It's very cute.
Do you
It's
think
very
Shane
sad.
had ever been with anyone prior to that encounter?
No, he's never been with a man before that.
But with anyone. Like, do you think that was his first sexual encounter? That's what I was wondering when I rewatched it.
In the books, he's like kind of had sex before, but I think it's mainly just like fellatio he's engaged in. And in the books, Rachel talks about it a little bit more, that he's kind of went somewhere in his head where he can kind of enjoy the sensation, and that's about it. So I think maybe that's as... So in my head, I was like, well, we don't discuss it in the script, so that's just what I imagined he's done. But the thing is that still makes it special, that doesn't take away from their newness of it, is he's never had a sexual experience where he wanted to be there. Or there was even a flint of desire.
Until he saw that arrow.
Yeah, until
in
he
the
saw that
locker
arrow.
room.
Yeah.
Okay, last question before I let you go. So it's our understanding, obviously season 2 is coming, we know this much. But then we saw these headlines being like, season 3. Rachel Reed announced that she is going to be writing a new book in the Heated Rivalry series. My Sherlock Holmesing brain sort of says, okay, so season 2 of Heated Rivalry, The Long Game, season 3 of Heated Rivalry, perhaps this new book that's coming.
Yeah.
Have you given this any thought? Am I Sherlock Holmesing alone?
You're Sherlock Holmesing with me, because I also don't know. And I don't think Jacob knows. He has inklings, I assume. The Long Game is definitely season 2, but season 1 is also 2 books.
This is true.
This is not off the record, but how do I caveat? This is me Sherlock Holmesing without insider knowledge, because I'm right there with you and they tell me nothing. So my opinion is not more informed. I think there's a possibility, if we get a little bit more money or budget, which I also don't know, that maybe we could do more episodes.
Yeah.
So maybe we could do more than 2 books, but that also might be too much and too many subplots. So maybe it's 2, and The Long Game's similar size to Heated Rivalry, so I feel like we'd at least do 2. Season 3, if I don't know how long Jacob wants to do this whole show, but there's 6 books total, right? And then now a 7th being written. It's kind of sounds cool that we could do like 2. And then if we did 3 next season, that would be 5. And then we could get last 2 in season 3. But then if we did 2, 4, 6, you see what I mean? I think there needs to be a 3-season thing in one of them, just to get through all of them.
You mean 3 books in one season?
I think there needs to be that somewhere, whether that's season 3.
We can table this. We'll give it some more thought. This was amazing. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Will you come back for a part 2?
Please.
Okay.
Please.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, it was so fun. Oh my God. That was fucking amazing.
It did go by so fast. Michelle fucking Williams.
I had to like hold it down. I was about to I was like, get the tears fucking.